Hey guys, got an update for you for my DSArms SA58 FAL or FAL rifle. I did an initial review when I first got it a few months ago, and it seems to be a pretty popular video. So I thought, since I've had a little bit of trigger time with it, and I've got a few other little accessories and things for it that I wanted to throw together in a little update video. One of the first things, if you remember my first video, I showed you guys that when I first got it, I scratched the receiver here, as you can see, by trying to get this this latch open to break the gun in half so that I could clean it. And stupid me, I used my Leatherman pliers to try to pry it, and even with a t-shirt wrapped around them, it slipped and I scratched the receiver. So that sucks. But you may or may not remember, in the original video I showed it to you, it was a nice shiny new scratch in the black anodized aluminum lower receiver, which sucks. But if you look at it now, it's a little bit less noticeable, a little bit darker, and the reason behind that is I tried out a product by Birchwood Casey called Aluminum Black for touching up scratched areas on aluminum. And basically I saw this in I think the Midway catalog, so I picked some up. Actually, I saw it at a store. I saw it originally in the catalog, saw it at a store, figured I'd pick it up. I don't remember how much it was, but little bottle. For a scratch this size, I used, a tiny bit. But what I did was I cleaned the scratch real good with a degreaser, and then I got a Q-tip and I dipped it in the bottle, and then I let it cover the scratch with it. It's like a watery liquid, and I let it sit for a while, and it darkens the metal so it's not as shiny and noticeable. If you can tell, the scratch, it's worked its way in from thumbing the safety up and down. You can see how shiny and bright that scratch is. Maybe you can't really tell, but if you can, then good. But it's a little bit shinier. This aluminum black liquid kind of darkened it a bit, and you can put several coats on. I think I did 2 or 3 coats, but I don't know. It is still kind of noticeable, but in person it looks a little bit darker. But anyways, I thought that was kind of neat and something good to have. And if anybody's looking for something, if they have scratches on any of their gun parts, this is kind of a neat thing. So that's that. The next thing is I put an order into DSArms for a couple things. One being the front sight tool. Basically, you need this, or you need some sort of I'll open it up. You need some sort of a tool to turn the rotate the front sight if you want it to go up or down. You can see it's got a couple pegs. It's got a couple different sizes. I'm not really sure. I haven't even used it yet, but I just got it. I thought it would be good to have. So I ordered that up. You can see I haven't used it yet. It's still covered in oil, so it doesn't rust, as it came to me from DSArms. So I picked that up in case I need it. I've only had to adjust the rear sight so far. So, and then I also picked up the DSArms brass catcher. And now the neat thing about this is that it works right along with the heavy duty scope mount that I had installed, as you can see when I got the rifle. So if you don't have this, then I'm not sure if you can use the brass catcher if you don't have this top cover scope mount. But I'm not positive on that, so don't hold me to it. But essentially, if you look at the top one, you can see there's holes there and there. And essentially, what you do is there's like little detents, ball detents on either of these 2 pegs here. As you can see, it's rusted a bit here. But what you do is you just slide it in these 2 holes. There you go. Now it's in there, and the bottom has a Velcro closure, so if you're done, sure, you fill it up, You can open it up, drop the brass out, put it into a little bin or a cup or something like that, and save the brass. Pretty neat idea. I was really excited about getting it, and as soon as I got it, I think that following weekend I went and tried it out, and at first I liked it, and then bad things started to happen. I noticed a couple things. Problem number one is that some of the brass would, when it came out, I'm not exactly sure, I wish I had like a high-speed camera to catch it, but it would come out and it must have hit, I don't know, the lip on this. It's just like a plastic lip around the edges, 4 pieces. It must have hit that or something, but I found a bunch of my brass was getting deformed. As you can see, these are a few of the worst ones, just so you can see the example. But the case mouth was getting bent up pretty good, and I'm not sure if it was bouncing off of the brass catcher itself, or it was bouncing, hitting the brass catcher and knocking back into the ejection port here and hitting somewhere on here, because there's a bunch of brass marks. I mean, without the brass catcher, it hits this little deflector right here sometimes, so there's some brass markings on there. But there's a couple other brass marks like down there and a little forward. So I don't know if it was deflecting off of the brass catcher lip and then hitting the actual ejection port here or what. But quite a few of these cases started getting that way. And at first I didn't pick up on it, and I thought maybe the FAL just was deforming the brass. And then I said to myself, well, I've never noticed it before. And then I said, well, a friend of mine said, well, let's take the brass catcher off and try it without it. And every brass that shot out without the brass catcher, the mouth was perfectly fine and the brass were perfect. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, and it may be related to the first problem, but I was finding a lot of brass getting stuck. The bolt wouldn't close all the way on the next round because the brass would be caught in the bolt, stovepiped and sticking out, and I had to a handful of times stop shooting and pull the bolt back, take the brass out, and reload another round. So that was very irritating. So overall, I'm not happy with this. I had high hopes, and it seems like a simple enough device that it would work well. And it did catch most of the brass. It caught almost all the brass that wasn't stovepiped, but it was deforming the brass if it did catch it, and if it didn't catch it, it was stovepiping it. So, it was $15, so I'm not, broken up about it, but, very disappointed in this. And I don't know, it seems like I haven't really read about a brass catcher for any type of a rifle, AR or otherwise, that's really been successful. It seems like they all have their glitches. So unfortunately, I'll have to resort to just finding my brass in the grass, I guess. So, okay, so that's that. And the last thing I wanted to show was this little device. You may or may not have heard of it or seen it. It's called a Lula loader. And essentially what it does is it just makes loading the magazines a lot quicker and easier. I don't have any rounds to show you right now, but let me grab a magazine. But essentially, here's a 10-round magazine. It works with any of them, 20-rounders, whatever. You got the little nubbin right there, and there's a little catch in there. So you slide that over just like you're putting the magazine in the gun. Slide that over, pull that back down, put that back so it latches on the back there. Now you're all set. Now what you do is, it's got a cam in there, so you rotate it, and what you do is you drop a round in, slide it slides all the way back, and then you rock it. And then you drop another one in, rock it. You drop another one in, rock it. And you just do that till it's full. And then when it's full, press down, pull this bar up, boom, you got a full magazine. And once you get used to it, it goes really, really quick, and it helps load the magazines a lot quicker. And the other nice thing too is this cam holds the tension of the spring down, so that the rounds just drop right in, versus if you put them in by hand, you're pressing down, you're scraping the brass along the lips here, so it saves the feed lips on the magazine, and you know, and it just saves your brass from getting all marred up and scratched sliding them in every time. So I think this was like, man, I don't know, I think 30 bucks, 35 bucks or something like that, which is a little bit expensive considering it's just a molded plastic piece thing, but I think it's well worth it myself. So makes loading magazines very quick and easy. So I thought I'd just share a few of those things with you guys. Stay tuned. Like I said, I have been doing some shooting. Haven't gotten as much shooting in as I wanted to with this gun. But I found that iron sights at 100 yards kind of sucks with this gun. It's got kind of a big aperture at the back, rear sight. So, you know, I can easily hit large plates and things like that, but as far as trying to get any sort of, you know, accuracy out of it or any shooting for groups, it's just not working. So I've actually put an order in for a scope, and I'll give you more information on that when I get it. I should have it sometime next week, and then I gotta get together with my friend of mine and we'll get it mounted and everything like that, and I'll sight it in, and then I'll report back to you guys with you know, all the stuff, and I'll do another video on the scope and the mount and accuracy. So stay tuned if you're interested in hearing more about this rifle, and thanks for watching, guys.